Good evening, everybody. That's an old Benny Hill line for you youngsters out there. This is a hell of a nice ride I took in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont, as well as crossing over into New Hampshire. I went Island Pond up into North Stratford, into Colebrook, through Dixville Notch, into Errol, down into Berlin and Gorham, and then I went across into, I guess it was just Jefferson. Oh no, I actually did go all the way down to Lancaster, and then I went on into Littleton, New Hampshire, and then back up through St. Jay and back home. It was surprisingly only a 243 mile ride, and it went by very nicely. There were a lot of really cool roads, very minimal road construction, couple small bridges that barely held me up, which is lovely. A lot of the roads were really quite surprising. I got some really cool footage of just like some cannonballs piled up and bizarre things like that you just don't expect to see. You never really know what you are going to see actually on rides like this. And it was the first time I'd ever done this ride. There was a lot of new pavement that was complete. A lot of nice big roads like this through this one part anyways. Beautiful day that day it was as well. I was on the 10. I've actually been considering, I was pointing at the sky, I've actually been considering trading one or both bikes. That was kind of I was seriously thinking about just getting rid of them and then buying that Harley so I didn't have to take a complete ass raping on the bikes that I have now, because of course once they leave the dealer, even though you paid next to nothing for them, or so you think, they're still going to offer you half of what the bikes are, and then they turn around and put them on the showroom floors for more than you even paid for them brand new, because you don't get any of the discounts and all that good stuff. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but any dealer, whether it be car or motorcycle or whatever, they can make more on on used vehicles than they can new, because with the new one comes the stipulation from the manufacturers that they have to make only a certain percentage, which is usually about 20%. And when they buy something used, of course, they pay the consumer next to nothing for it, and then they turn around and put an ass-kicking price on it. That actually happened with a Chevy Tracker back in '99 that we bought. The dealer that we bought it from bought it back off from us, and they put it on the advertisement page for literally more than we paid for it, by the tune of like $2,300. Once again, because of the discounts and whatever from the manufacturer. So it's usually better to not involve a dealer if you don't need the money quick. Giving the little guy a break, is usually a better way to go. I mean, like something that a dealer would give you $5,000 for, you could sell for $6,000 and still, give somebody a good price on it, because it's probably worth $8,000. And that's what they would, they usually, a dealer makes at least $2,000 on anything they sell. Whether it be, new or used. It's just a matter of, how much they have to give for it and all that sort of good stuff. And the other thing about that too is, I've never found where they really take into consideration the condition of your vehicle. That's what you hear all the time is, I mean, of course they want something that's all original and primo condition, because then they can really, put their top dollar on it. But they don't really show it to you when, the time comes, whether you're going to sell it to them outright or trade for something else. So, that's something that if you can plan ahead and, take your time to get rid of something, you'll probably be better off. With me, the credit situation of today's economy, it's like $1,000 is nothing, so why bother spending a month with a bunch of tire kickers, to mess with your time and whatever. Might as well just do the deal through the dealer. That's the way I usually look at things, but it's definitely beneficial to do things yourself. So yeah, anyways, this here is a really, really nice ride. I mean, like I said, it was what was it? I think it was maybe Friday. Oh no, it was Saturday. And just minimal traffic. It was fairly busy, but nothing like going around a town or cities, There were just a few small towns you went through, which were nice because there were really cool, like, walking bridges that went up staircases. And like I said, just really neat things that I didn't really expect in these little towns, like Island Pond, which is like very, very northern point of Vermont, and then right from there you go into New Hampshire. And it was cool because it was all such nice roads, and the exact opposite of what I thought, because I had been close to there, like when I did a Route 114 ride, and the roads were pretty crappy, and that's what I expected the whole way. But as I got closer to like the New Hampshire border, the roads were all in really great condition. And this is actually in New Hampshire right here, right when I crossed over. And it's definitely a big main freeway type road. Next time you can actually go south instead of going north, and it just brings you to like the Lancaster area. You don't cross over into, because I went pretty close to the I guess it would be eastern border of New Hampshire. I mean, I was very close to Maine. And in Earl, you're probably only about 10 miles from Maine, but instead of keeping on 26, which would bring you into Maine, or going north on 16, which also brings you into Maine, you just, head south right down into the Berlin-Gorham area. And it's a really cool road right there because it's pretty curvy, but you follow a like a really bizarre, it's almost like a lake, but it's more like a river because it does actually flow in a lot of parts, and there's really low rapids, and it's really pretty. I mean, on both sides of the road, it's kind of swampy land, and there's really cool, I don't know if they're actually man-made, but I'm guessing they must be. There's like man-made islands of rock that have grown just a tree or two. And like I said, I've never seen anything like that before, so it was really cool anyways. Definitely a ride I recommend you take if you haven't already. I actually see a few bikes up that way, but definitely a lot more scattered out than I would have guessed. The really cool part, there's a ton of UTV and ATV trails, and instead of saying like motorcycles welcome, all the stores said ATV riders welcome. So that was pretty cool. And they, right on the trails, of course, these stores are right beside the roads. And there were big groups of guys, gathered just taking a break beside the road and stuff. So someday I might be able to get my ATV up there and figure out how much it costs to join clubs and stuff up there in New Hampshire, because there must be an awesome trail system, which Vermont does not have. Boo, Vermont. And obviously it works because, you know, I don't believe, I mean, it's stupid to have all the vast trails and stuff. And, you know, if the landowners don't want ATVs on the land, you know, make areas where they can go. You know, they just haven't tried it all. The governor's not a big fan of that type of stuff here in Vermont, so that's pretty much put the kibosh on that. We've gotten quite a few more trails than we had 10 years ago, but still nothing compared to New Hampshire or Maine or any of the surrounding states. Like Tennessee, I guess, is really awesome for that stuff. And it would be, I mean, being able to ride an ATV like that, I mean, I've got a 13 Grizzly, and it's got like 30 hours on it. And, you know, I bought it early, part of 13, so a couple years old for that minimal amount of usage is kind of sad. I use it for hauling wood around my land and plowing. And I occasionally will take the kids on a ride on the roads, you know, the dirt roads around me. But other than that, this is actually Dixville Notch. Really, really cool. The roads were like wet. It was probably 20 degrees cooler through this area. And it's 1887 feet tall. And there's a lake right beside of it, and it's really, really cool. I mean, there's really nothing around this area as far as houses or stores or anything like that. And I wound up seeing a couple big old Mack trucks coming up the hill with some cars behind it. I was glad that I wasn't behind them. But it was really pretty through here, and just the kind of area you want to find on a bike ride, you know. I've got 2,700 and change on the ZX10 now. I've taken a couple rides with it since. So in the course of a couple days, I've been racking up the miles on the 10 for a change, and I've got about 1,700 miles on this oil, so I think I'm going to be changing that relatively soon. Maybe another good ride on it, and then I'll do it. It still looks clean in the window, so I don't want to overdo it. Plus I've got that Wix filter on this one, so those filter better than the K&Ns, but the flow rates I don't think are quite as good, so you kind of, you know, give up a little bit for the other. But the flow rates and the filter media areas, which is what actually filters the oil, Wix and Napa are the same brand, which I've mentioned in other videos, but no other filter is as good for both of those things as the Wix Napa brand. The K&Ns, of course, are nice because they've got that 17 millimeter bolt head on it, so it's a lot easier for getting into hard to reach areas. I actually just put a K&N on my car a couple days ago. I changed that, and I remembered to put the oil plug in it. I've forgotten on the car in my ZX10 that time a piece, so yeah, I'm going to be extra cautious now, I think. Anyways,